Before I get started, I want to talk a little bit about customizing the UI because there are quite a few more options that have been made available. And most of the options for customizing the UI have been moved into the Workspace menu. So if you go into the Workspace menu, you've got options for choosing which page you want to open and the keyboard shortcuts for opening Media Edit, Color, and Deliver. And you also have options for the viewer mode when that's relevant in the edit and color pages. If I move down here to layout, these are some of the options that you really want to know about. First off, there are dual screen layouts which you can enable by turning this on. And with dual screen layouts, each of the pages, with the exception of the Deliver page, has a way of spreading its UI onto two screens to basically give you more room for everything it is that you're trying to do. And the layouts are different on each page, reflecting what the primary functionality of those pages happens to be. So you can turn dual screen layouts on here. With dual screen layouts on, you have the option of choosing which display is your primary display, which basically reverses your two monitors. You can also use this to choose which of multiple monitors you have will display the Resolve UI in multi-monitor situations where you've got dual screen turned off. There's also this full screen option, which governs whether or not the little menu bar appears up top. I usually turn that off because I want to have those few pixels of room available for things that I'm doing inside of Resolve. And the menu bar doesn't really do you much good. Resolve typically takes up the whole screen. So whether or not you have the menu bar doesn't really, in my view, help you. So if I go back to Workspace, go back to Layout, there's also this Reset UI Layout command, which basically puts every single page to its default layout in terms of how big all of the elements are within that page. Whenever you move the pointer to the border between any two UI elements, you can typically resize, depending on how much room you want for any particular part of the UI, and this is true with just about every part of the Resolve UI. Additionally, if you go all the way up to the top here, there is a UI toolbar that allows you to actually show and hide whole portions of the DaVinci Resolve UI depending on how much room you want to have available for what parts. So you can turn each part of each page on or off. And in some cases, you can even set a particular part of the UI to be full height. If you really want to have a lot more room for media storage, you can make it full height, push this over, and use Resolve like this. So that's really, really handy. I'm going to set this back to being half height. But you can see there's a lot you can do to customize the UI of Resolve. The media page is where you import clips in DaVinci Resolve. You actually have the option of importing clips into the edit page if you drag and drop them from your file system. I can't drag and drop that as long as I have all of these bins selected, but if I choose a particular bin, say Detective Scene Audio, and go back to the Finder, I can drag that clip right into the media pool. So I can do that either in the edit page or in the media page because the media pool is the same. However, the edit page doesn't have this media storage browser, which is available up above, which allows me to browse the whole file system of my computer, either Mac, Windows, or Linux, directly from within Resolve. That's a limitation of the edit page that I don't have in the media page, mainly because the media page just has more room for this. So I've got my media storage browser up here, and I can show or hide the list of volumes, and it's going to show all the hard drives that are attached either over the network or directly to my computer. So right now I'm having a look at the DaVinci Resolve lesson media that you've downloaded. And I've got a set of favorites down below. So I can create a favorite for any location that I know I'm going to be pulling media from regularly. And these are easy to create or hide. Next to that, I've got a viewer. Now this viewer makes it really easy for me to select clips and see what they are from media storage. All the viewers in Resolve now have the same transport controls, so they're very easy to understand. Next to the viewer, I've got audio meters. So if I want to see if there's any audio, I can. This clip doesn't. This clip does.
Sync 2 Alpha, take.
Down below, I've got the media pool that I've been talking about at great length, and next to that, I have the metadata editor, which allows me to view and add and edit metadata for any clip or clips that I have selected in the media pool. The metadata editor actually allows a lot of metadata editing. There are multiple pages of metadata available to me for viewing and editing, or I can go up to all groups and see every single piece of metadata in one long list. And incidentally, when I'm editing metadata, the shot scene page is probably the set of metadata most useful to the average editor. But you also have the option of going back into the project settings and going into the metadata page and creating your own pages of presets. So I can click New, call this Alexis Metadata, click OK, and now I can choose what metadata I want to appear in Alexis Metadata. So let's just say all I care about is take, scene, shot, description. Those are the only things I care about. I click Save. Now I'll cancel out of this. And if I click the pop-up next to the metadata groups pop-up, I can choose Alexis Metadata, and there are my short list of favorite metadata items available for me to use and browse. So if you have your own way of working, Resolve is really capable of facilitating that here in the metadata editor. So that's what the media page is all about. This is also where you prep your media. It's where you do audio-video syncing, if you have to do audio-video syncing. It's where you can clone media. Basically, all of the things that someone on set or things that a camera assistant would do are encapsulated within this page. So it's a nicely optimized environment for taking care of business.